Good everyone, today's video. Today it's well, I say part two of a Bulldog double, shall we say. Because the first video that you'll get today will be the US Bulldog, and obviously now we're reviewing the German Bulldog, aka the Kampfpanzer M41. So the KPZ M41, I'm just going to refer to it as a Walker Bulldog from now on because I really can't be asked, is a rank 4, battle rating 6.3 German light tank. Now I know what some people are thinking. Why is it 6.3 and why is the US Bulldog at 6.0? Well, there's a good reason. Well, there's a good couple of reasons for that. Number one, this thing actually gets decent teams, and well, not when I started Spain in it. I had a straight loss of 9 straight defeats when I first took this thing out for its first few games. Yeah, 9 straight defeats. It seemed like this thing was a bad luck charm. But as I got towards the end of the spade, this thing really became fun, and I really do have to admit this is one of my favourite light tanks in the game right now. That's not a joke, by the way, it's one of my favourites. And there's a good reason for that. Now, those of you that are new to the M41 and have not actually played the US Bulldog, I highly recommend playing either the US Bulldog or the Japanese Bulldog. Get an experience for it, because the German Bulldog is exactly the same as the other two, except for a couple of key differences, which we're going to go over. But otherwise, it's not a very forgiving light tank. All rounds that pretty much will hit this vehicle with an APHE fuse will detonate. And that's what really punishes you if you make a mistake. And that's why you've got to play this thing very passively, shall we say. So the battle I'm going to show you today is when I first unlocked the heat round, which is one of the two differences that really makes this thing stand out compared to the US and the Japanese Bulldog. But obviously, you can already tell a couple of aesthetic differences. We've got this German marking on the side, which at least you know it's a German Bulldog if you're in Sim. But then you have these smoke launchers. Now these work a little differently to normal smoke grenades that you may be used to. On something like the Tiger 2, which is my 149th German spade, there's your 150th, by the way. You get single barrel smoke launch or grenade launchers, which work as a simple fire out, lands in front of you, and then puts up a smoke screen. Not these ones. These are I think they call them canister ones, where like they fire at the barrel and then they immediately turn into smoke. I can't remember the technical term for it, but these work a little differently. They do cover a nice good area, however, they can't exactly be used to cover areas where you would like. You only get one shot at using these because all 8 fire at the same time. And here's the fun part. The M496 Heat FS round. This thing is actually really good. Now, there are some tanks you're not going to lol pen with this, such as a T-32. Let me think of another. Got to think now, because, well, there's the IS-3, which can be a bit debatable, but the hull should be able to be penetrated by the CFS round. It's when you look at the stock shell of this tank, which is what really threw me off at first. M319 shot, you may be familiar with this round. It's an APCR round, and this is horrible to start off with. It'll be able to penetrate most tanks that you see, however, its damaging effect is very limited. But even so, it will get you started. Obviously, you can scout and everything. You can get into positions nicely, even though the Walker Bulldog will be stock. And to be honest, it'll do the job just nicely. HE, tell it to go sod itself. You go 50 cal, you don't need no HE. Sabo, exactly the same as the US Bulldog and the Japanese Bulldog. Don't really need to explain that. It's the Heat FS I really want to cover. The Heat FS is one of my favourite rounds on these sorts of light tanks, and obviously it's really my first. Well, it's more like my third experience if you include the Chinese PT-76, but it's my third experience of using a Heat FS round, and so far this Heat FS round has won me over. This is absolutely awesome. It packs decent post pen, it packs decent penetration, and the only real problem with it, obviously being a heat round, is if it hits anything such as a fence or a branch or something, it will detonate. and it won't be able to kill your target as effectively unless it's a light truck or something. So if you're in an area with a lot of wooding, or like a wood area, like a forest, or in a city area with a lot of debris and stuff like that, I would actually recommend maining the Sabo once you get it. But obviously, it's a rank 3 and 4 modification respectively. So is the smoke. You also get access to a night vision device, however that is purely for the driver. So you're not going to be able to lol pen, I don't know, a T29 in the dark, because that's unfortunately not how it works. But otherwise, I had a really good experience for this tank. Fair enough, I certainly could have done better in it, as you'll see. 25 deaths, 8 air kills, and 93 ground. Just look at the win rate. That'll tell you everything. Out of 51 battles played, I had 16 wins. That gives you an idea of just how bad the teams were. Like, it got better towards the end of the Spain, I can tell you that much, but honestly, the teams I had Spain in this thing were just horrid. So the battle I'm going to show you today is my first round with the heat ammo. I literally just unlocked the heat and thought, right, let's take it out and let's see what it can do. And I'm glad I did give the heat round a chance, because it really came through. Obviously, you're going to be meeting a lot of US M18s, possibly Chinese M18s, PT-76s, Russian trucks and stuff like that. Stuff that is quite easy to hull break, and obviously with it being a 76mm gun, it's going to hull break instantly if you hit a target. So, that's even better. So, let's get rolling. Obviously at this time I didn't have the smoke, I didn't have the tracks, I didn't have the engine. I grinded straight for the EFS. And you're going to see what this gun can do with EFS. Now, should that mean that the US and the Japanese Bulldog get the Heat FS round? Maybe. Maybe, but this thing has smoke and that does... I mean, they do, but they have a smoke shell. This thing doesn't, and I don't get why, but... I'm guessing the Germans just didn't use smoke, or the actual smoke shell themselves. But yeah, this is a spot I like to go to in light tanks, and sometimes even tank destroyers if they're well armoured. This is a nice little spot to just sit down and nicely just take your left hand off the movement keys and just scout away. This is really what I do in this spot. But don't worry, we're going to be getting the 76 firing very shortly. And I know there's going to be quite a few players that will see the German Bulldog and just think, oh, it's copy-paste, blah, 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 it's not very good. It is good. You just need to take your time with it, especially stock. Once you get upgraded, that's still no excuse to be an absolute madman, but it's still a lot of fun to play. So at this point, I'm just scouting that American Bulldog over there. I believe a teammate does actually take him out, but it's just after the scout runs out. At this point, I take a hit and I was thinking, what the fuck? Now I know you can probably see my 50 cal, however it's actually that T25 down there, and I was thinking, what the fuck? I was very confused by that, and I was actually debating looking at the server replay to look at that guy, because that seemed very dodgy to me, but I'm not going to, I can't be arsed, to be brutally honest. So, like I say, the Heat FS round is very strong. Obviously, as I mentioned, there are going to be situations where you're going to have to switch Sabo. You'll see that in this battle. And you'll notice I'm carrying 30 Sabo and 15 Heat. Don't recommend that. I'd recommend maining the Heat, but keeping at least 10 to 15 Sabo on hand, just in case. I'd say about 20 to 25 Heat FS rounds. It's your preference. Don't bother taking the APCR round unless you're a masochist, but even so. But at the moment I'm just scouting tanks. This is really what I do in light tanks. I try to scout tanks, and if I need to kill a tank I will. But in a moment you saw that IS-2 over there, and also a... what else is it? I think it's a... yeah, there's another Bulldog down there. It's that Bulldog from earlier. And I'm just scouting them for the team, and you'll be surprised how blind your team can actually be. I believe this Tiger is one of the victims of this guy. And there he goes. I marked the IS-2, and I marked the Bulldog, and yet he just drove out side on to an IS-2. Luckily though, these guys seem to be quite unaware, so in a moment I believe I actually do go for a potential shot at them. And there's a PT-76 over there. And this is all I really do. I just sit back, I scout, until I get into a few minutes later, which I'm going to jump forward to. At this point I get a bit confident, and I think the IS-2 is focusing on something else. I can just yeet him with a heat round, so I take to do so. The Bulldog over there spotted me doing that, however I immediately scout him in obviously return. Obviously it doesn't come up on here that I'm actually scouting, I am, it's just a bug with a replay. And, well guys, you can't be asked to fix the replays unfortunately. But again, this medium tank down here, which I believe is a T-34-57, has been marked by the spawn protection. Now, this R3 came up here, and I don't know why he did, because, well, he's in an R3. I mean, I appreciate the air cover, that's for the anti-air cover, that's for definite, but if I really want to piss off a plane, I'll fire the 50 cal at it. That's how I got a majority of my air kills, by the way, with the 50 cal. The 50 cal, the 50 cal elevates up really high, so it's really nice to have, personally. But obviously, that's when the scouting ran out on that M41 that you just saw there get killed by the Tiger. And that's just really where it's going to go for a couple of minutes. Obviously, the Tiger's moving up there, and the T-34, even though he's marked by spawn protection, kills the Tiger. Oh no, sorry, he killed the R3, but he's about to kill the Tiger in a second. And here's a Panther. Just sits there. That's not the point of this spot. Oh dear. But EFS round kills him, and that is my second kill. And this is just the mentality of teams that I had, and I'm just thinking, what the fuck? But you can see, just this was the majority of player base that I had Spain in this tank. And that's what really ruins it for me. There's skill number 3. I just heat FS that truck there. Because, well, you can hold break those trucks instantly, so it's just better, so. And I think I even make a comment in chat or something about it. Here we are. Do you guys look at the minimap, or do you just love dying or something? I've scouted both of those tanks, which was the IS-2 and the M41, and you just ignored them. You can understand my frustration, because this is just common. This was a common experience with me spading the tank. And you can see we're down all 3 caps. We've got a flipping tank destroyer in there, camping, who I think it's even a Breda 501. What's he doing in a Breda in a freaking 6... What, this is a 6-3 game, I think. Oh dear. And this is the annoying thing, again, Panzer 4G saw that guy parked there on the spawn protection, drove out in front of him, died to him. The Breda actually noticed and killed him. What the fuck? And yet whenever I fight German teams, it's like I'm fighting frickin' Erwin, well not Erwin Rommel, flipping Michael Wittmann. Oh dear. Yeah, I'm going to jump us ahead a bit here, because, well, we're going to get a bit more hull break experience, shall we say. I thought the PT-76 were going to come out there, but no, he decides to reverse. And hull break, nice and easy, kill number 4. One other thing I like to notice about this tank is that it has an extra exhaust up near the front plate. It's on the right hand side of the tank, and I'm thinking, why do you need 3 exhausts? I mean, I know this thing's a German tank, and obviously, well, a German Bulldog and all that, it's served in Germany. But I know you guys had trouble with your Volkswagen emissions and all that, but there's no reason to make the Bulldog any more emissions unfriendly. I mean, and this Oswin player, I really don't know what he was thinking. I really don't. He's lucky that T25 was actually stock and had the stock round, otherwise he'd have been dead in one shot right there. I really don't get what he was thinking. He comes out to try and shoot a T-25. Oh, God almighty. It's actually hurting my brain watching this, you know, like... Oh. And this was the teams I had all the time, but there's one thing I love about this EFS round, it's yeeting a T-34 from the front, that's for definite. Killed him a 6. But this is just the mentality of teams I had, and pains me to say it, but it really affected my mood throughout the Spade, and that's the one thing that annoys me, is whenever the teams just seem to want to die all the time, it ruins my impressions of the vehicle, because they just don't want to pull their weight. I mean, I'm in a light tank and I've got 6 kills after these lot didn't even get a third of that. And if you're here because of the review and all that, like you're a new person and all that, and you're not subscribed or anything, do let me know what your experience of the KPZ M41 was. Was it similar to me? Did I just get a bad luck of teams, or well, a very bad luck of teams, or is it just how it is at this sort of tier? Because I don't know. It just felt like the teams just wanted to die 24/7. Do let me know, because I'm always eager to hear and everything, but sorry, I'm just moving some on my desk here, but I just don't understand it. Like, German teams are normally rather good, and yet all of a sudden they're getting their head kicked in. But obviously now our team has actually killed off most of the enemy team because they've all rage quit after time. And there is a guy over here in an ISU 152, a Chinese, I think it's the Chinese one, or is it the, not like it makes any difference. I know it's the Russian one. And I think that there's a T-3045 taking pot shots at me now, but he's just died. And here's where the Heat FS round really wouldn't work. You can see here, this ISU is trying to stop behind this house. However, you can actually shoot for this house with APDS. And that is exactly what I intend to do. I reckon there was at least one report made this game on me, but to be honest, I don't care. I ain't no cheater, I just knew you was there, and I know Saber can go through that house. That's just called map knowledge. So like I say, if you had a bad experience with the M41, please do let me know, but for the most part, I just did. But is this tank worth your time? Definitely. If you don't want to pay for the RU251, which can get hull broken by the way, this thing is certainly a good choice to pick. It's not as good as the RU in terms of mobility, and the armor will set off most of the fuses that you will, in fact no, nearly all the fuses that you will see. But for the most part, this thing will do the job for you. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all on the next one.